Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski. Welcome to my leveling XP guide for PokeMMO in 2023. Now, I'm going to do a couple of things in this video. I'm going to cover the best spots. I'm going to show you what you need to do this, and I'm going to remind you that this is all late game activity for the most part. As long as you have at least one region defeated, you should be able to do all of this. I'm going to show you the best spot in each region, some of which will require Leppa berries, so I will be giving alternative spots for the average player, which will have less XP, but you won't have to use Leppa berries, which cost a bit of Pokeyen. Now, I do want to give a quick little disclaimer or notice that I get this really common question of people saying, hey, I'm at the 3rd or 4th gym in Kanto, where should I go XP train? And the unfortunate answer is there's not really a good cheat answer to this. Really, if you're in the mid game or early game, just going anywhere you can to single encounter, or maybe trying to pick up a sweet scent Pokemon and trying to sweet scent wherever you can, but usually there's not many early game hordes, and you usually don't have access to an AoE move like Earthquake at that point anyway, so really just running back and forth and getting those single encounters and getting that XP as quickly as possible is the best thing you can do. Now, once you defeat one region, everything gets 10 times faster. Once you defeat one region, you can always come back to that region and XP train for other storylines there, which is fantastic and really speeds things up. So for example, if you are in Sinnoh at the 4th gym badge, and let's say your max obedience is level 32, but all of your Pokemon are level 20 or 22. But you have Kanto already completed. You can take a boat, head back to Kanto, come back here, XP train your Pokemon at a horde since you have access to level 100 Pokemon here, train your Pokemon up to 30 or 32, make sure not to go over the cap because then you won't be able to use those Pokemon within that region, and then take the boat back to that region and crush whatever gym you're stuck on. That's the general purpose of leveling, also just getting Pokemon to level 100, of course. Let's go ahead and actually talk about what you're going to need. First things first, you're going to need one AoE Pokemon, something like Discharge, Surf, Earthquake, all these moves that say targets all adjacent Pokemon. It's under the power, accuracy, PP, and priority. It'll say targets : this says all adjacent Pokemon, which means it does hit every Pokemon within the horde. Now, if you're using a Discharge Pokemon, make sure you're not attacking any ground types because obviously it'll be immune. If you're using a Surf type Pokemon, make sure you're not killing hordes of water absorbed Pokemon. It's really that simple, but keep that in mind. Now, you also might want some Leppa berries. That's kind of a optional thing. You can do this if you want faster rates in certain regions, but it's nice to try to avoid spending that Pokeyen if possible. You're also going to want a sweet scent Pokemon. The most powerful thing in PokeMMO is to summon hordes of 5 Pokemon consistently with sweet scent. To keybind your sweet scent, make sure to click this white star and select whichever hotkey slot you would want, and make sure to buy 1 PP max and use it on your sweet scent. 1 PP max will make a massive difference. It's only 22k, and it allows you to do 6 sweet scents per heal versus 4. And then usually you have an XP share or multiple XP shares. The XP does get split up amongst the Pokemon you're leveling, so always keep that in mind. It is also super relevant and important to use the AoE Pokemon. Make sure this Pokemon is not level 100. If you're using an AoE Pokemon that has level 100, you're essentially wasting half of your XP, and I'll get into that in a little bit more depth here in a second. But since we are here in Kanto, let's go ahead and get started with our first location. There will be timestamps down in the description and on the video itself, so you should be able to skip along this with whatever you might need, whether it's requirements or just getting to the certain locations. We're starting here in Cerulean City in Kanto. We're going to bike up. We're essentially going to head over to Cerulean Cave. Now, keep in mind, you have to have the storyline, I believe, defeated to access Cerulean Cave, and not only that, you do also need to have completed the Islands mini quest, the sort of Islands 1 through 7 in Kanto, to be able to access this cave. Go inside. You want to come up to the water and you want to sweet scent here, and here I believe you should encounter Golduck. I believe, yes, it should be very high level. Now, this is a Leppa berry spot, keep in mind, so you do want Leppa berries. It's a discharge spot, and you want to go ahead and encounter these Golduck. Go ahead and discharge, and this will give you, let's check the XP numbers. We see 4,200 XP and 3,800 XP on the Golduck. Now, I do have donator status active, so I'm getting a little bit of a boosted rate, around 1,400 bonus XP, so knock that off. It ends up being around 6 or 7k, I think around 6k XP on average per horde at this location. I'm going to go ahead and also take the XP share off of the Golduck just to show you guys how much XP you gain on one Pokemon. All right, here we go with the XP share off. So just the Galvantula is going to get a whopping 8,440. Once again, 1,500 bonus from the donator. So looking like around 6k XP plus some trade bonus XP, but around 6k XP or so, around even maybe 7k a lot of the time if you have that Pokemon traded and such. So a lot of XP, but once again requires Leppa berries. Let's go ahead and quickly cover the backup spot for Kanto if you don't want to use Leppas. Now, if you don't want to use Leppas in Kanto, there's two quick spots that I want to recommend. The first one is just at the Elite Four, because I think most people who want to XP train are usually at the Elite Four leveling their Pokemon to actually take on those trainers. So here, you can just come down here, come down to Victory Road, and essentially just Sweet Scent within that cave, and you'll encounter Marowak and Sandslash. These Pokemon, you do want to Earthquake or Surf them, so keep that in mind. You obviously can't discharge these, but this is a great XP spot, which won't get as much XP as the Golduck and such, but it's still super decent. Just to quickly show you guys, I defeat that horde and get 6k XP. Once again, extra because of donator status. I've been trying to make this video for a while. I wish I wouldn't have had donator status for it, but that's the way it plays out. So you do get around 4,800. You get around 4,800 XP per horde of that, so keep that in mind. I'm moving on to the third location that I do want to check out really quick for Kanto. I believe it's over here on Island 7. There is a Tentacruel spot. Tentacruel will come up multiple times. It's just one of the best Pokemon by far for getting XP. This one also does not require Leppas. You come up from Island 7, come up to this water, go ahead and pop a Sweet Scent, and you'll encounter Tentacruel. And if I discharge this horde of Tentacruel, let's go ahead and see how much XP I gain. Looking like 7,800, around 5,600 before donator. So this is going to give much more XP than the Kanto, Victory Road spot. So if you have access to the spot, definitely come here. And if you can kill them, definitely prioritize Tentacruel. But I think the Victory Road is a good spot because a lot of people like to farm there. And I've spent a lot of time farming there personally. Even if it's not technically the most optimal, it's a bit comfy and nostalgic for a lot of people who spend a lot of time in there. Any sort of XP training or EV training or any grinding in PokeMMO really is a mix between, hey, what's the most optimal and what do you enjoy the most? You want to make sure you're not grinding something you absolutely hate. The best way to continue a grind long term is to truly enjoy the journey. But we're going to go in chronological order and head over to Hoenn since Johto is not in the game quite yet at the time of recording. This one is an easy one. This is probably the best spot in the game for most people, especially since it is so close to a PC. It's going to be Tentacruels at the Battle Frontier in Hoenn. Let's go ahead and jump over here. We're only going to be doing one location for Hoenn since it's just the best location in the game. Most people XP train everything here. This is where people go to XP train. This is the #1 spot in the game to XP train. You will always see this place flooded with players. I'm even on channel 3 and there is a ton of players here. Let's discharge and see how much XP is gained. 8,500 XP with donator, 6,000 base XP, really similar to that one in Kanto, but it does seem like you get a little more here, at least on average. So around 6,000, 6,100 almost XP from this one horde, and it's right next to a PC. You can just teleport back to it. It's super nice. It's really important and really comfortable to have a teleport Pokemon or a teleport ocarina like I do during this grind. Teleport does save a little bit of time compared to fly, which is really nice since it puts you right in front of the PC versus right outside of the building. Alright, but that's pretty much Hoenn covered. It's a super simple and easy one. One of the biggest benefits of defeating Hoenn is getting access to the Tentacruel XP farm. Let's go ahead and head over to Sinnoh. Now, Sinnoh is a bit of a weird one because it does have a 6,000 XP horde spot, which is up on Stark Mountain, and you can horde for Camerupt there. However, that spot is both so far from a PC that it's like super not worth to even go to, in my opinion, unless you're doing a ton of XP farming and maybe using XP charms and other amplifiers where it really starts to mathematically matter. And B, dude, it's just a pain to get there. And even if you are using Leppas, it's really not worth it. In my opinion, this spot sucks. Don't go to Camerupt. In my personal opinion, if you want to, it is technically most optimal, or if you're super familiar with getting up to Stark Mountain. However, I recommend and I prefer this spot here at the resort area in Sinnoh. Super easy to get to, right next to a PC. You don't need Leppa berries. You just sit here, you hoard for Golduck, you'll discharge them as we already know, and you'll get around 5k XP without donator per horde. You get like 5,200 XP here versus up at the Camerupt spot, I got 6k XP. It is such a, like, minimal. I mean, obviously 800 XP per horde really adds up really fast. It's not super minimal, but at the same time, with how annoying it is to get to that Camerupt spot, I really recommend this Golduck spot over it. And then obviously for those who are either at the Elite Four or sort of near it or, close to it, you can always come over to the Elite Four spot. Pretty much every spot, every region has an Elite Four spot. This one actually might have a really good water spot right here. Let's just test it out live on cam. Yeah, there's a nice Tentacruel horde here right in front of the Pokemon League, which I assume is almost always a good XP spot. Tentacruels are fantastic, so if you just want to level up an XP train for the Elite Four, this is probably going to be your best bet. Let's see how much XP we gain. 7,000 XP, 5,000 before donator. Yeah, this is a perfect spot. Definitely check out the waters here for Tentacruel if you're interested. All right, now over in Unova, we have quite a couple spots to show off. Let's go ahead and start with one of the most common ones. We'll start with Rapidash. Rapidash is the west of Lucanosa town, and it's a really common one. You can also just speed EV train here and get really decent XP. Let's go ahead and check how much XP per horde. All right, one horde of Rapidash seems to give 7,000 with donator, around 5,800 XP, almost 6K base XP here. Really, really good spot. Plus, once again, a speed EV training spot. And a lot of people love shiny Rapidash and Ponyta. XP training is all about, once again, finding those locations you enjoy, and that revolves around finding which shinies you wouldn't mind to find while XP training. Another great spot to check out that I recommend for a couple of different reasons is over here in Undella town at Undella Bay. Now, there's two spots to check out here in Undella Bay because one of them is really good for special defense EV training, the other is good for defense EV training, so you can EV train here as well. But this spot is really good because you can choose between two different shinies, and then also both of these Pokemon are 4 times weak to electric, so you can bring discharge Pokemon like this Galvantula here at like level 40 if they have like correct nature or decent nature and like decent enough IVs plus EV trained. You can level up Galvantula really fast here, or have like surprisingly low level discharge Pokemon take on these hordes and gain a lot of XP really quickly. Let's go ahead and show you guys. So here right in front of the PC, we do have Mantine. Mantine is for special defense EV training, so it will be kind of bulky and hard to take down for most discharge Pokemon unless you're a higher level. But the next Pokemon is a defense Pokemon. We'll cover Pelipper here in a second. Pelipper is great for training those discharge Pokemon. 5,300 base XP, super, super good. And the big difference here, make sure you see in the top left-hand corner how it says Undella Town. Let's see, Undella Town if I'm standing here, but if I run over here, it says Undella Bay. Now, if you're in that Undella Bay area and you sweet scent in the water, you'll then see Pelipper. And Pelipper is once again incredible for training these discharge Pokemon from a really low level until you can use them to start killing things like Tentacruel. Let's check the XP. A beautiful 4,800 XP per horde, so not as much as the Mantine. Decent, a little bit less, but it could be, pretty much averaged out. It depends on, the average of everything. It could be like 5K each. Maybe the Mantine just high rolled, maybe the Pelipper just low rolled. It really depends on the level of the wild Pokemon you're encountering, which obviously can vary from horde to horde. Now, I also do want to quickly cover the best XP spot in Unova, which is around 6K or maybe slightly more per horde, and that's going to be Piloswine in Giant Chasm. Once again, this is probably going to be a Leppa berry spot, so keep that in mind. We're going to start here in Lucanosa town and then head over east. You want to make sure you have this rock strength pushed into here. If it's your first time coming through here, you will have to come around and essentially do that. But once you have it pushed in, you can forever come around here. We spot a Crobat swarm live on video for random purposes. Why not? We'll go ahead and head into the cave. It's pretty easy to get around this cave. I'm going to pop a repel. You pretty much just follow the ring on the outside until you reach this rock. And once again, if it's your first time here, you'll have to go through like the whole maze. But if it's your second time or more here, you can just essentially come through there and come down here. It's pretty quick to get through this cave. You potentially could do this without Leppas, but Leppas is what makes this spot really strong. You'll horde here on the dark grass specifically, and then you'll encounter Piloswine. You can also shiny hunt here, of course. And these are all level 53 to 55, so pretty high level Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and Earthquake. Now, you want to make sure your Pokemon is always strong enough to one-shot the enemy Pokemon, and I'm going to get 7,400 XP here. Let's see how much base XP, around 6K base XP. So usually the spots that require Leppas give around 6K base XP, and the spots that won't will give around 5,000 to 5,200. Sometimes, obviously, the ones like Tentacruel are sort of exceptions, but still a fantastic spot. And once again, if you have access to Battle Frontier Hoenn, that usually ends up being your best bet. Now that pretty much does cover all of the XP training spots within PokeMMO, but before you guys go, I did want to give a quick visual of something I mentioned earlier. I wanted to talk about why it's bad to train with a level 100 Pokemon and to try to avoid it if possible. It's not the worst thing in the world, but you do lose out on half of your XP. So for example, if I am leading with a Dragonite and I have an XP share on this Galvantula, now we just saw myself gain 6k base XP with the Golduck. If I surf and kill the Piloswine, how much XP do I gain? Let's go ahead and see. All right, I throw up a surf, one-shot all the Piloswine, and let's see what happens. So my Galvantula gains half of the XP, the 3027 base XP, but since my Dragonite is level 100, it doesn't gain any of the XP, and that XP does not get transferred over to Galvantula, it just disappears. So I'm essentially losing out on 3000 XP per battle. That's a big deal. Having low-level Pokemon like this Galvantula, I love training and creating Pokemon like this that are lower level that I can level up along the way to level 100 whenever I'm XP training any Pokemon. This is really nice, and I've made multiple other videos talking about this. Creating discharge users or other Pokemon to level along the way. Essentially, what you do is you get a Pokemon like this, you train it, you level up to level 100 while just training your other Pokemon. You don't miss out on any XP, and once this Pokemon reaches level 100, I'll be able to sell it for anywhere between like 50 to 80k, depending on the Pokemon. So it's free Pokeyen along the way with a little bit of preparation, which is really, really nice. Alright, but that once and for all covers everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If it was, make sure to let me know by clicking the like button on this video. Dislike if you didn't like it, that's totally okay as well. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos every single day, 10 a.m. EST, at least one video comes out. And then I stream Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. EST as well. The Discord link is down below if you're interested in more content like this or want to see updates on my stuff, as well as just tons of information about the game is in my Discord, as well as meeting new people who care about this game just as much as you do. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, you can do so for $5 a month with YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal and Venmo actually do help out the most since they just take less of a cut than those other platforms. But that is it for me. Hopefully this video was helpful to you guys today. Have a great day and enjoy PokeMMO. Hey, if you're watching this, that means you watched the entire video, which is pretty crazy. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you for that. And if your name is on this list, that means you're a pretty cool dude. Thank you for going above and beyond and supporting the channel and allowing me to make videos or more content like this one. Thank you again.